Hi, everybody. Our January turns into a February thaw, and we're talking about many more 70s on the way with the potential for some storms. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice with this breakdown on what you can expect for all things weather. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Also, please let me know where you're watching from right now. That helps me tailor this forecast. I'm going to show you some temperature swings here in the next little bit and the pattern moving forward that we need to keep an eye on. So simply put, not much going on in the United States. You see very little air watches and warnings. There are some smoke or some fog advisories in some locations, but overall, anything that's severe is going to be in the Pacific Northwest, whereas the Southeast is relatively calm as we await our next chance for some rain that's going to try to come our way, which does come sooner rather than later. So let's get right to it and talk about that front that's moving toward us. Many of you are already seeing some of that rain, and we can see as we move into our Friday TGIF, by the way. What do you guys have planned going on this weekend? For the Justice family, got one more week of basketball, and thankfully we are through with the flu. The flu has been just through our house and ravaged us. Fevers just through the roof. Thankfully, no more of that. But we're ready for a weekend of one, being fever-free, and two, enjoying one more week of basketball for our kiddos. Okay, so here we are. Mid-morning, we've got some rain that's on approach. It looks like it's going to be about lunchtime for areas in the Carolinas or Atlanta to begin to see some of that rain. This is kind of shaped like a front, like a stormy front, and there will be the risk for some storms in some of the areas that had snow this time last week. I'll show you that severe risk in just a moment, but here we go. This is going to bring some rain eastbound. If you're not seeing rain on Friday morning, you likely will before the afternoon comes to us, and that rain could be locally heavy at times. Not looking at a lot of really soaking, long-lasting, all-day washout type rain, but there'll be some rain midday through about early afternoon and evening, and then it's on out of here. This could try to spice up a little bit from Columbia to Charlotte through Raleigh, farther south toward middle Georgia, Statesboro, on approach to Pooler and Savannah, Statesboro, down through parts of Brunswick. Jekyll Island, St. Simon's Island could be in store for a late night rumble of thunder Friday night into Saturday, but I don't expect anything severe, just some rain that exits the coast. And the good news here is by the time all of us, and I mean all of us, wake up, even Cape Hatteras, we're talking about the sun will be shining on Saturday, and this front does not have cold air behind it. In fact, it's looking quite nice here behind it. How about rainfall totals? The model is not too optimistic about a whole lot of rain. This will be enough to wash the salt, the brine, the kind of junk on the roads right now, but this is not going to be much to write home about. Generally, 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch in the western Carolinas through Atlanta, through Charlotte. A little bit more here along the coast, so this spices up a little bit, but this is not a big rainmaker, not a big severe waker either. However, we do need to keep an eye on Louisiana, parts of Mississippi as we go into Friday afternoon into the evening hours. Also, there's a low-end threat for severe weather as we go into Middle Tennessee going into Friday night as that energy sweeps through. Again, there's enough Cape here for a rumble of thunder. That's about it Friday night into Saturday. That's all the signals are showing to me. When I look at the Storm Prediction Center right now, we have a low risk for severe or some storms in Louisiana up through Mississippi. Now, as this transitions into tomorrow, that threat for severe weather does push toward the panhandle of Florida. Again, a very low risk. General thunder, though, being highlighted here all day for Friday for Carolinas, Georgia, into Tennessee. So can't rule out thunder, but if there's going to be a severe or spicy storm, it would be here from Panama City westbound. Again, some of the same areas that had snow. So where do we go from here? Well, the European model shows this rain coming in. It clears out, and then we've got a beautiful weekend. Everybody from Florida to the Carolinas to Georgia to Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, all just basking in the sun this weekend. It's going to be very nice just about anywhere that you're watching from right now. This weekend looks to be really nice. We're going to see some dry weather, and temperatures are going to be quite comfortable. Highs are going to be near normal, if not about 5 to 10 degrees above normal. But by Monday, we've got high pressure in control of the entire southeast. This is when spring's going to try to come to us again. I mean, many of you are going to be saying, spring fever, here we go. What snow? Well, as we go into the southeast this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's really nothing to stop us from getting into the low 70s. So cool nights, warm days will kind of be the theme here, and it looks like it sticks around at least through the middle of the week. A little front's going to try to make its way toward us about a week from right now, next Thursday, Friday's time frame. This front does look to have some origins to it to where it'll actually pass through, get rid of the warmer air, give us some pretty good soaking rain next Saturday. This would be next weekend, Saturday the 8th or Sunday the 9th. We get some rain to enter the picture again. And then, unfortunately, it looks like it would get cold for a brief period of time, maybe 3 days. That'd be next Sunday the 9th, 10th, 11th time frame. Looks like we're chilly, and looks like we stay at least near normal into the middle of the month with no big swings. A couple of pieces of moisture try to roll our way. Doesn't look to be coinciding with any meaningful cold air. So right now, as it stands, looking at the models, I don't see any snow or ice threats, at least significant snow or ice threats, except for the higher elevations in North Carolina for the next 2 weeks. As I look at my teleconnections, basically, will there be any blocking patterns that would set up to cause cold air to dive in and just be locked in place? Meh. In fact, over the next several days, you see this big rise, which means the opposite is true. We actually are getting locked in with some warmer air. But as you see here, it starts to turn negative around the 7th, 8th. That indicates that cool down that I showed you. That looks to be a short blip. This is not a deep negative. This is also not a long wave right here. So if it were a deep and a longer wave, I'd be a little bit more inclined to say, ooh, watch out. Middle of February could be quite cold, but it looks like we get a quick, short blip of some colder air below normal by probably 3 days, and then we're right back to near normal or above normal temperatures. Looks like it's pretty even, to be honest with you, beyond that, say the 13th, 14th, 15th time frame. So that's kind of the way things are shaping up temperature-wise there. As I look at the atmosphere and the way the jet streams and the heights are behaving, we've got this system that's good enough for some rumbles of thunder, maybe a few pieces of severe weather Friday into Saturday for the Panhandle of Florida. Just the way that front aligns makes it a little more spicy. But then this big ridge sets up, and we got a pretty zonal flow here, which means not much cooking in the atmosphere going into this week. In fact, big ridge sets up where we've got this big ridge across the eastern United States, pretty tame weather, pretty warm weather, different with a little dip here in the Pacific Northwest. That eventually breaks loose, breaks down this trough, I should say this ridge, and we get that to at least back down a little bit by the 7th, 8th, 9th. But notice it doesn't have a lot to work with. We get a little blip of some colder air here arriving on the 8th, 9th, 10th time frame. Another little shot of cold air in the upper parts of the atmosphere. Now we're getting the northern jet to kick in here. Northern jet's pushing the southern jet down here, and that leads to probably another little piece of cold air trying to work in sometime in the upper Midwest toward the 11th, 12th. That would be sub-zero temperatures there. It would be near freezing in the south. So it would get cool again, but doesn't look to have the staying power or the depth of cold air that we had earlier in January. And really, looks like we're kind of back to zonal flow going into the 14th. So temperature-wise, what that would look like is us being above normal and warm. Let me fast forward to Saturday afternoon, 60s showing up, even close to 70. Farther south you go into Florida. Oh, look at Miami, 85 degrees this weekend. Then going into, let's go to Sunday afternoon. This would be Sunday afternoon, Minnie in Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia, around 70. We're in the upper 50s to around 60 in the upstate of South Carolina. And in Florida, we're 78 in Orlando, 80 in Miami, 80 in Tampa. And then early next week, looks like we get some cool mornings. Look at those afternoons. Pushing 70 Monday, pushing 72. We got lots of 70s. 80 in Orlando, 75 in Tampa, 78 in Miami, 70 in Greenville, 70 in Charlotte, 72 in Atlanta, and this would continue to be quite warm going throughout a good bit of next week. That would keep us quite warm. So Greenville, Spartanburg, here we go. Your extended forecast. This would show temperatures hovering in the 60s through early next week, even pushing. This model wants to say close to the upper 70s Wednesday. That would be close to record-breaking warmth, but it keeps us in the 70s through next Friday, Saturday. Then comes that cool down I told you about, the 9th, 10th, 11th, which, as you can see, would send our lows back below freezing, which is honestly where we should be. Couple of 20s in here. So yeah, we get a couple of very cold days here, but notice it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 or 6 days worth. Not a long-lasting big shot, but we'll have to look for a cool down toward the middle of the month. And you can see the level of it here. Highs in the 30s, maybe 39, but mainly 40s, and lows in the 20s and 30s. We can handle that, I think. Asheville Regional Airport, same models, same area here. Asheville would be in the 70s much of next week. And then if the models were to be true, we would crash down and have that cold blast come through about the 9th, 10th, 11th time frame. Lows would go to the 20s with the exception of one morning here in the teens. And lows, or I should say highs, would be in the mid to upper 30s. So not the Arctic blast we had before, but certainly cold, yes. Have to watch that. How about Orlando? Okay, any more bouts of 30s? That was wild, right, in January? Right now, the models are showing you're pretty steady, hanging out near 80 degrees through the 8th, 9th, and your definition of a Orlando cool down would be a whopping 72 degrees and lows in the 50s. Man, it's nice to be you, Orlando. How about Northwest Florida, Panama City Beach area? You're sitting pretty in the 70s, Destin 70s, all the way through the next 10 days. Then you do cool down. Your definition of a cool down toward the 9th, 10th, 11th would be highs in the 50s and 60s with lows in the mid to upper 30s. So not too bad there. Birmingham, surrounding areas, Alabama, Mississippi. Highs are going to climb to the low to mid 70s over the next several days. Then you get that cool down toward the end of the month to where you could get that. Hey, want to see your city on the extended forecast here? Please let me know where you're watching from in the comment section, and I'll make sure to feature your city next time, wherever you might live. Just got to know where you live. If you appreciate this video and the breakdown of the forecast, please like this video. Let me know where you're watching from, subscribe, and turn on notifications. It helps me greatly and helps me as I do look at the comments and read every single one of them. So hope you guys have a great evening. We'll keep you posted on what's happening in the weather world.